the years go by, many of us find ourselves grappling with the deeper complexities of aging. While the outward physical changes, the graying hair, laugh lines deepening, or those persistent aches and pains, are evident, the true challenge of getting older lies in the emotional and psychological shifts that occur as time marches forward. The sense of loss, the shifting identities, and the uncertainty about the future can be overwhelming. From engaging in countless discussions across major online forums, it's clear that these feelings are not isolated. People of all ages and backgrounds wrestle with these challenges. If you've been feeling this way, know that you're not alone. Let's dive deeper into some of these key challenges and how we can face them together. 1. Facing the reality of time and mortality. One of the most profound realizations that comes with aging is the increasing awareness of time's relentless pace. In our youth, time feels boundless. We make long-term plans, dream big dreams, and life stretches out endlessly before us. But as we age, the perception of time changes dramatically. The days, months, and years seem to slip by more quickly, and the awareness that life is finite becomes ever more present. The milestones that once seemed distant, retirement, watching children grow up, losing loved ones, come into sharper focus. Many people, particularly those active on forums, express an urgency to make the most of their remaining time. They feel the pressure to accomplish long-held goals, pursue dreams, and make their mark on the world before it's too late. This growing awareness of time often leads to what is sometimes referred to as a midlife crisis. People start to reassess their life choices, whether they pursued the right career, lived in alignment with their passions, or built meaningful relationships. This period is often accompanied by feelings of regret, hope, and anxiety. For example, a man in his late 50s shared his story on Reddit. He had always dreamed of traveling the world, yet life, family responsibilities, career demands, and financial constraints had always seemed to get in the way. Now, with his children grown and his career winding down, he realized that time was no longer infinite. But instead of despairing, he began to plan those long postponed trips. His story serves as a powerful reminder that while time may feel more limited as we age, it's never too late to pursue what truly matters. Aging doesn't mark the end. It's an invitation to realign with your deepest passions and make the most of the time you have left. 2. Dealing with physical and mental decline. As we age, one of the most challenging aspects is coming to terms with the changes in our physical and mental capabilities. The body that once served us so well may no longer perform as it used to. Simple activities that were once second nature, jogging, bending down, or even walking long distances, can become more difficult. For many, this physical decline brings frustration, sadness, and even a sense of loss. In one online forum, a user in their late 60s shared a heartfelt post about their struggles. Once an avid runner, they now found themselves winded after just a few minutes of jogging. The loss of this beloved hobby, something that had brought them joy and a sense of vitality, was a hard pill to swallow. For them, it wasn't just about losing the ability to run, but about losing a part of their identity. Mental decline is another significant concern. Forgetfulness, slower cognitive processing, and the fear of developing conditions like Alzheimer's loom large for many. The prospect of losing independence, both physically and mentally, is daunting. However, it's important to recognize that while some changes are inevitable, there are ways to adapt and thrive despite them. For example, I personally found new activities that are kinder to my body. Swimming and yoga have become my go-to exercises, offering both physical benefits and mental clarity without the wear and tear that running once caused. The key is to shift perspective, focusing not on what has been lost, but on what can still be enjoyed. Exploring new forms of activity and embracing them with an open mind can bring fresh joy and fulfillment. 3. Loneliness and isolation. As we get older, our social circles naturally begin to shrink. Friends move away, family dynamics change, and sometimes people drift apart for reasons beyond our control. For many in their 60s and 70s, this shrinking social network can lead to a deep sense of loneliness. The loss of a spouse or lifelong companions can be particularly devastating, leaving people feeling isolated and disconnected. The COVID-19 pandemic only heightened this sense of isolation, making it even more difficult for older adults to reconnect with the outside world. In an online forum, I came across a thread filled with heartfelt stories of people in their senior years who felt incredibly lonely. One person shared how they had lost several close friends to illness and how the prospect of making new friends at their age seemed daunting. Others shared similar sentiments, expressing that it felt nearly impossible to rebuild their social lives after such losses. However, loneliness doesn't have to be a permanent state. While it may take effort and courage, there are ways to forge new connections. Volunteering, joining local community groups, or even rekindling old friendships can help. I've personally joined a local book club and have reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in years. It wasn't easy at first, but it reminded me of the importance of staying engaged with others. By putting ourselves out there, even in small ways, we can gradually rebuild our social circles and combat the loneliness that often accompanies aging. 4. Regrets and unfulfilled dreams. As we grow older, it's natural to reflect on the choices we've made and the paths we didn't take. Whether it's a career move we passed up, a relationship that didn't work out, or a dream we never pursued, regrets can weigh heavily on our minds. However, regret doesn't have to be a burden. It can be a powerful motivator for change. A story shared by a man in his 70s comes to mind. He had always wanted to learn to play the piano, but life's demands, work, family, and other responsibilities kept pushing that dream further down his list of priorities. Now, in his later years, he finally had the time, but found that learning was much harder than it would have been in his youth. Despite the difficulty, he persisted, practicing every day. His story serves as a poignant reminder that it's never too late to pursue unfulfilled dreams. While it may not be as easy as it once was, the joy of finally following a passion is well worth the effort. Regret can be a powerful emotion, but it doesn't have to define your future. It's a reminder that time is precious, but it's also a call to action. Instead of dwelling on what could have been, we can choose to focus on what can still be. I've learned through my own journey that life is not about perfect timing. It's about taking the opportunities that are in front of us, no matter our age. Whether it's picking up a new hobby, learning a new skill, or reconnecting with old passions, there's always room to pursue what matters to you. The challenge of staying relevant in a rapidly changing world. In today's fast-paced, technology-driven world, many older adults find themselves feeling disconnected or left behind. As innovations evolve and societal norms shift, what was once familiar can quickly become foreign. The rise of social media, digital communication, and online culture has created a generational gap that can feel insurmountable for those not immersed in these technologies. This disconnection can lead to a sense of irrelevance, especially when trying to maintain meaningful relationships with younger generations. A poignant example is a forum post I came across from a woman in her 50s. She expressed frustration at feeling out of touch with her teenage children, whose world seemed consumed by social media, online gaming, and digital communication. She recounted how every attempt to engage them ended in confusion, leaving her feeling alienated from their lives. This situation is increasingly common among parents and grandparents as the digital landscape becomes a central part of younger generations' experiences. However, staying relevant isn't just about learning the latest tech, it's about staying curious and engaged. It's about maintaining a connection with the world, even as it changes around you. Personally, I've found it helpful to approach new technologies with an open mind. I make it a point to ask questions, explore platforms, and engage with younger people who are more familiar with these trends. For instance, I signed up for social media to better understand the conversations my children and grandchildren were having online. It not only helped me reconnect, but also opened doors to new friendships and interests that I never expected. The key to staying relevant is embracing curiosity and being willing to learn no matter your age. This mindset allows you to bridge generational gaps and maintain an active role in your community and family. Remember, staying engaged is about more than keeping up with technology. It's about fostering meaningful connections and maintaining a sense of purpose in a rapidly evolving world. 6. Finding purpose in later life. As careers wind down, children move out, and life transitions from full schedules to open days, many older adults find themselves grappling with a loss of purpose. The roles that once defined them, whether as workers, parents, or caregivers, may no longer be central to their lives. This shift often brings an emotional void, leaving people wondering, what's next? In one popular online forum, a woman in her 60s shared her struggle after retiring from a long career. She recounted how, for decades, her identity had been tied to her job, and without it, she felt adrift. After some reflection, she rediscovered a childhood passion for art, something she had long set aside while raising her family and building her career. She threw herself into painting, eventually finding not only a renewed sense of purpose, but also joy and fulfillment in this creative outlet. Finding purpose in later life is often about rediscovering old passions and exploring new ones. For some, it's about giving back, whether through mentoring, volunteering, or participating in community projects. For others, it's about taking up a new hobby or skill that sparks curiosity and engagement. For me, it has been about dedicating more time to causes I care about and mentoring younger people, sharing the wisdom I've gained over the years. The most important realization is that your value isn't tied to your productivity. In our working years, we often equate our worth with what we produce or achieve, but later in life, purpose can be found in relationships, creativity, and contributing to the world in more subtle ways. The love, wisdom, and experiences you've gathered over the years are invaluable assets to those around you. Finding purpose in later life is about embracing these qualities and using them to enrich your own life and the lives of others. 7. Navigating identity shifts. As we grow older, the roles and responsibilities that once defined us begin to change. For decades, we may have identified ourselves as professionals, parents, or caregivers, but as these roles shift or fade away, we can be left wondering who we are without these titles. This identity crisis can be deeply unsettling, as it challenges the core of how we see ourselves and where we find meaning in life. A woman in her 60s shared her experience on a forum, describing how lost she felt after retiring from a highly successful career. For years, her job had been her identity, giving her purpose, structure, and a sense of accomplishment. When she retired, she found herself waking up in the mornings with no clear direction. Days stretched out with little to do, and the absence of her career left her feeling purposeless. This disorientation is common, as we often tie our self-worth to the roles we play in society. I've also been through this transition after retirement. Initially, I faced a similar sense of displacement, no longer having the daily structure that my work had provided. However, over time, I began to see this period of uncertainty as an opportunity for self-discovery. I started journaling and reflecting on what truly mattered to me beyond my career. I explored hobbies I had set aside for years, like gardening and painting, and reconnected with old friends. Through this process, I built a new identity, one that wasn't tied to my job title, but to the person I had become over the years. Navigating these identity shifts can be difficult, but it's also a time of growth. It's a chance to redefine who you are based on your values, interests, and the experiences you've accumulated over a lifetime. Embrace the uncertainty as an opportunity to explore new aspects of yourself and discover what brings you joy and fulfillment beyond traditional roles. 8. Caring for adult children or grandchildren. Many parents assume that their responsibilities will end once their children reach adulthood. However, in reality, many older adults find themselves continuing to care for their grown children or stepping in as primary caregivers for their grandchildren. Whether it's helping a child through a difficult life transition or taking on the role of grandparent caregiver, this phase of life can bring both joy and challenges. A man in his late 60s shared his experience of moving in with his daughter to help care for his grandchildren after she went through a divorce. While he cherished the time spent with his grandchildren and felt grateful to be a part of their lives, he also admitted to feeling exhausted and overwhelmed by the demands. He hadn't anticipated that his retirement years would involve changing diapers and chasing toddlers. The experience left him grappling with the need to balance his desire to help with his own need for rest and personal time. I've experienced something similar. After my daughter went through a tough divorce, I found myself stepping in to help raise my young grandchildren. It's been a blessing to be so involved in their lives, but it has also been an intense and sometimes overwhelming responsibility. I've had to learn how to set boundaries, saying no when I need rest or time for myself, and balance my own needs with my desire to be there for my family.